Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the words of the CHOFETZ CHAIM, Klal, hey, the 5th chapter here, and he writes like this. V'nei ad kai, until this point in the Sefer. Hitzanu mi'inyoni dibur ha'asar ha'isar harbe devarim. We presented you many matters where we're dealing with the topic of speech, of talking, Lashon HaRa, slander that is certainly forbidden. Shemishtanem lefa'amim bedina lefi ha'inyan, and the halacha varies at different times depending on different circumstances where you're going to be considered to be speaking Lashon HaRa, and sometimes we even spoke about the idea of ta'elis, where if it's beneficial, maybe you could actually say certain things that in general would look like Lashon HaRa. V'yata basifim halalu, and now, in the up-and-coming sifim, the up-and-coming pages, I want to discuss something that is much bigger and is a much greater prohibition in the laws of Lashon HaRa. Because what we're going to be speaking about over here, there's no way to judge the person who's saying Lashon HaRa favorably. He's outright speaking Lashon HaRa. Ki einenu mechavin l'shum te'elis, because certainly, as we're going to see, this person who's saying Lashon HaRa has no intention of saying anything constructive or anything beneficial. There's no benefit that he's going to bring about. Rak l'saper begenus chavei, or rather, all he wants to do is speak negatively about his fellow Jew. And the CHOFETZ CHAIM is going to introduce over here the concept of pointing out the shortcomings and the faults in another person when there's no other reason besides pointing out their negative traits. There's no ta'elis, there's no benefit, you're not warning somebody from them, you are just wanting to disparage and put this person down, so you point out the negative traits that they have. This form of Lashon HaRa is found, unfortunately, many people trip up and stumble into this. However, of course, it's only because of people's lack of knowledge and understanding of how Lashon HaRa works. Therefore, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, I request of you, don't be surprised by what I write, how I expound upon these cases, and I'm going to lay out every single detail explicitly for you to be able to understand. I'm doing this because I hope that maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help. He'll remove some of this terrible stumbling block that exists in these areas. Because as I see it, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, many people are falling prey to the Lashon HaRa in this particular case, and therefore I'm going to be very specific. I'm going to bring the cases out into the public so people will understand exactly what we're talking about. I'll begin by saying the following. It is also, it's prohibited to disparage and embarrass another person because of the shortcomings that they have, because of their own personal attributes. Hein b'chachma, whether it's with their wisdom, their intelligence. Hein b'gvura, whether their strength. Hein ba'isha, whether their wealth. V'kol ki agavna, and any other thing that you would consider to be a shortcoming of theirs, if you mention it and you talk about it negatively and embarrass them, that's Lashon HaRa. V'afarish as devarai b'chol hapratim, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, I'm going to explain my words, each one in detail. So here, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, 3 categories that he's listing out by name, and it includes everything, and that is, if you're going to embarrass a person because of his intelligence, and you'll think to yourself, what's the big deal? I mean, that's the way that Hashem made him. Or somebody, their gvura, their strength, listen, the guy's a puny little guy, what do you want from him? Or hey ba'isha, the person that has no riches, Hashem decided he's not going to be rich. Or anything that is similar, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, all of this is going to be considered Lashon HaRa, and Be'ez Hashem tomorrow we'll begin explaining how the person speaks Lashon HaRa and why it is Lashon HaRa in these cases. Have a wonderful day.